Hello, my name's Tommy from Velocity Tuning. Today's video is all about XHP gearbox flashing for the F90 M5 and the settings we are using to get the best times possible. There's a few ways you can get XHP onto your car. You can have someone like me do it for you, where you turn up and I'll flash it. You can do it at home and you might use a laptop with an Ethernet cable, or you might use your phone or a tablet where you'll use a wireless adapter or an adapter that converts the Ethernet over to a Apple Lightning or USB-C if you've got something like a Samsung. Now, you don't have to do the gearbox map only if you're tuned on the engine. Guys with stock engine power can also map their gearboxes, and there's benefits for them as well. The shifting's a lot crisper and a lot faster, and if you're not bothered about that extra power, you just find that the gearbox is a bit slower compared to the old DCT M5s, this is something that you're going to find beneficial. The main emphasis on this video, we're going to be showing you guys how to use XHP, but for the main part, it's actually going to be talking about what custom settings are used and why I think some settings are good and why I think some settings are bad. The times that I'm achieving with the car, I'm really happy with. In fact, I haven't actually seen anyone else with a stage 2 car doing faster 0 to 60s than myself. I think my best is 2.42 or 2.40, which is quicker than I actually expected the car to be capable of. So what we're going to do now, we're going to have a look on the laptop, we're going to go through the settings and I'll describe what settings I'm using and why. Okay, so onto the computer now, and I am going to go through the different settings, custom settings and the different maps. So this is my car, this is the Velocity Tuning shop car. It's a 2019 competition, and as you can see it currently has stage 3 flashed onto it. So first thing I'm going to do is cover the difference between stage 1 and stage 3, and it's pretty easy. If we click on stage 1, stage 1 just removes the torque limiters, so you can make extra power. You ain't going to have the gearbox intervening if the torque is too high. Go over to stage 3, you get that again, but you also get raised launch control shift targets, you get more aggressive shifting overall, you get a raised possible RPM for cars that have maybe got big turbos on them, etc. And you get raised line pressure. Now, this map I wasn't using because there was some problems I was finding with shifting, but as of this date here, which was at the back end of 22, that's been changed. So if you're looking at that date, that's actually the month and that's the day for if you're in England. They brought out a new version of this map, which is now on my car. So that is the difference between stage 1 and stage 3. So when you put stage 3 on, you also get the option to use custom settings. So let's have a look. What is there? So we've got all of these settings here, and the ones you see selected are the ones that I use on my car. So stock shift maps I use. So that is at which RPM the car is changing gear. I really like how it does it from standard. I don't like the RPM to be raised up, so I have this selected. Torque limits per gear. You look, I have first capped down to 650 newton meters, and then the rest of the gears are completely uncapped at 1200 newton meters. Go down a little bit more, press the run button there, let's go down. Auto start stop. So I do use this because I don't like the car keep turning off at me on junctions. There is one little flaw with it, and that is it will still activate when you engage park. So quite a lot of the time, as I pull up in the car, as I hit park, the engine automatically switches off with the stop start. It doesn't bother me, so I leave it as it is. Activate line pressure bump. So this is on anyway with it being a stage 3 map, but I've just got it selected here also, and they are the different maps selected. I mean, if we click on line pressure bump, you will see here that it's saying that it gives it a 15% increase in torque capacity. They also say only activate if it's needed if you're getting clutch slip, but you know, I'd rather turn this on before I get the clutch slip. And as you can see, they've got it on the stage 3 map anyway. So that's that. So let's go over the settings that I don't use and why. And the first one is drag race mode. So if we turn this on and click this, I mean, the first thing that's cause for concern is clutch wear is going to be 4 times higher, and transmissions in less than optimal working state can develop mischiefs. So I did try to use this, and on my 99 RON or 93 octane, depending on where you're at, map, it worked all right. Didn't have no problems with it. But at a half-mile race event, when I had a bit of corn juice F90 30 in there, I did have problems shifting from fifth to sixth. I turned off drag mode and the car instantly worked properly again. So this puts a lot of stress on the box, and all of the really good times that I've done, the 2.4 0 to 60, my 4.9 100 to 200, 9.9 quarter mile, all of that there was done with this turned off. So I don't really see a point in using it because I don't really want to wear out my clutch packs 4 times faster than normal. So torque reduction upshifts. So this is how much torque is being reduced between the gear shifts. So if you're looking through your logs and you can see that your turbo is not dropping boost and there's no lag there, you can turn this up if you want, and you're going to find that you're getting faster in crisper shifts. If you are finding that you're getting quite a big drop in boost between the shifts, then you could reduce this, and that would help with that. I don't have any trouble with either. I find that my boost stays pretty much constant, and I find that my shifts seem really crisp and fast. So for that reason, I do not use this. Custom launch control. We've got some brake boost protection to be overridden here. You can set the launch torque, and you've got torque scaling after launch. I really like my launch control. I have no issues with it, and because of that, I haven't played with it. To be honest with you, I don't actually want the car to do 0 to 60 any faster on a stage 2 tune. I'm quite happy with what it does, so this stays off. Max RPM is exactly what it is. So you see you've got different modes here, and it will select the maximum RPM one when at wide open throttle for each gear, and they can be adjusted. I have no reason to adjust those, so I keep that off. Stock shift maps. So this is when the car is changing gear again. I really like how this gearbox performs on the shift pattern. Being an M car and having M software in it already, it's got quite aggressive gearbox mapping from factory, and I find that if you do turn this off, it sometimes revs out a little bit more than I personally like. Take off in second gear as standard. As already discussed with the 0 to 60 times and whatnot, it's really good. I have no reason to turn this on either. If you have a car like a 140i, for example, the guys actually get better launches when they enable this. So that's the reason why that exists. What you've got to remember with all these settings is that they're not just for our F90, they've been developed for non-M cars as well. So you'll see things like the gear display, etc., that are selectable. But as you'll be aware, we already have that. So if you're looking at some things you don't really see the point in it, or you thought you already had it, that is the reason why. Throttle blips in M mode, again, I already like how it is, so I don't play around with this. But if you want to play with rev matching and blips and whatnot, that is where that is done. Gear display, already got it, no point touching it. Torque limits, already been discussed. Kick down delete, so when you put your foot flat to the floor, at the very last section, you've got that clicking motion. And if you go past that in automatic mode, it'll drop down the gears. If you don't want it to do that, you turn this on. I definitely don't want that on, so I turn it off. Switch off sport mode in cruise control. So I don't tend to use cruise control that much, but this will change the way it works and whether the car's engaging eighth while you're cruising. As I say, I've never had a problem with cruise control. I don't care about going fast or anything with cruise control, so I just completely leave that alone. It's of no benefit to myself. Auto stop start's already been discussed. Soft shifts in sport mode, you're pretty certain you ain't going to want to turn that on. If you don't want hard shifts in sport mode, you can turn that on, but I mean, if you don't want hard shifts in sport mode, just don't use sport mode. There's no real reason why you would want to use that. Line pressure bumps already been discussed. Valet mode limits like the engine RPM and the torque. So it's like if you've got someone driving a car and you really don't trust them or you don't want them hammering it, you can turn this on and it will limit the power that the car's producing. Stop go is for like traffic, and it will keep the car in second gear at standstill. See here, it's a comfort function. I don't really care for that one either.
and that's why I keep that off. So that covers all of the flash settings. Now, going back to that drag race mode at the top, I am very wary of that one. A lot of people do like to turn it on because they are aware of the fact that after you've done 100 launch controls in this, the way the car shifts gears is toned down. It doesn't shift as hard and aggressive. But please remember, if you've got stage 3 mapping on the car anyway, you're going to have faster shifts than you would have standard. So with stage 3 enabled, you are still going to have real nice fast shifts when you launch control. You don't really have to use drag mode so that you're still getting a good launch. Again, like I say, all my time, I've done over 100 launches in my car, and I do my times with this drag mode disabled. So that pretty much covers all of the settings on here. When it comes to flashing, make sure you press the ignition 3 times. Make sure that you've got a good battery, and ideally that you've got a battery stabilizer on the car. But for you guys that were asking what settings I was using when I was setting the fast times, here it is. If anyone has any other questions or they want to know anything else about these cars, drop it in the comments and I will try to get the video made for you.
That's just about everything covered for today. If you are or you're not using XHP, stage 1 or stage 3, let me know what sort of times you're getting. Let me know if you have any questions. And also, if you've had any problems, maybe with drag mode, put it in the comments. Whatever you've got to say about the gearbox mapping, I'd really like to hear it. Even if you've used custom mapping from elsewhere, I'd like to know how your experience has been with it and what sort of times you're achieving with your F90. Thank you for watching, and if you want to see more F90 M5 content, please subscribe.